In this video, we will use the Allsport 1600 series controller to reset the scoreboard for a new game, and we'll also learn about some of the buttons that we use to reflect the game on the scoreboard, such as balls, strikes, outs, those types of things. So if we look now at the little display on the controller, we can see the same information that's currently being reflected on the scoreboard. We can see 3 balls, 2 strikes, no outs, guess score of 3, inning 4, home score of 5. And if we look up at the scoreboard, it's kind of hard to see, it's out in the distance. We can see the same information, guess score of 3, home 5, ball 3, strike 2, inning 4, and we can see that the clock is running and it's 1 minute and 8 seconds. So to set up for a new game, if the clock is running, the very first thing we're going to have to do is stop the clock. The way you do that, again, is hitting this red button that says stop. This stops the clock. Okay? The next step is to push this button here. If you look at the clear button on the bottom in green, it says Alt, A-L-T. And that button will be used for controlling the lower, like the green functions on these buttons. That's how you make the lower function work. You first have to hit Alt. So in this case, we're going to hit Alt. And over here on the red stop button, if we look at the bottom, it says New Game. Hard to see that. It says New Game. So push that button. Now on the little controller here, it says New Game. It just wants to confirm, New Game, yes or no. If you made a mistake, if you really don't want to reset the scoreboard, just come down here, back to the scoreboard, and hit the clear button. That will cancel the New Game function, and it returns us right back where we were before. If indeed you do want to set this up for a new game, again, the very first step is to stop the scoreboard, hit the stop button, then come down here, hit the Alt button, and use this button for a new game. And again, you're prompted for feedback. New game, yes or no. In this case, we do want a new game, so we hit Enter. Now if we look up at the console, at the little display, we can see everything is reset back to zeros. And if we pan up to the scoreboard, we can see, when this comes into focus, that everything is reset. The default game time that this current controller is set up for on field 3 is 55 minutes. We have guess score of 0, home score of 0, first inning, no balls, no strikes, no outs. We're ready to go. Now to use the controller, it's pretty self-explanatory just by using the main buttons. And when I say main buttons, I'm talking about what is said on the main part of the button, not the stuff that's in the green. And the way the scoreboard is situated, it's exactly the way we see here on the console. On the scoreboard, the guess score is on the left, just like you see here, and the home score is on the right, just like you see here. Another way of saying that is the guest team would be in the third base dugout to the left. The home team would be in the first base dugout on the right. To increment the score, you simply push the button that says +1. So the guess score, this one says -1, so you would hit +1 when they score. And if you if you look at the little console, you'll see that it now says G1 on the bottom left. That means guess score is 1. And if you made a mistake, you accidentally pushed 1 for the guest and you meant to push 1 for home, the way you would correct that is go back and hit -1 for guest. Now you can see guest is 0. And you would just come up here and push home score +1. And now you can see home has 1. So you can both increment and decrement the counts, or the scores. The hit and error buttons, just by default, we probably won't be using those at all. But a button that we will use is out. So whenever there's one out, and let's look at the display currently, you can see out is in the top right. It says O equals 0. So for one out, you push the plus here. Out equals 1. And the scoreboard reflects the same thing. It's got a dot. It's got one single dot for out. Press it again. You got 2 outs. And press it again. You got 3 outs. And press it one more time to reset it back to 0. Okay, and now on the scoreboard under out, it's blank. It doesn't show any dots lit up. The next main button that we'll use is ball +1, strike +1. So let's just assume the first pitch is a ball, second pitch is a strike, third pitch is a strike, fourth pitch is a ball, fifth pitch is another ball. So we've got a full count. If we look up on the console, we can see the balls. It's in the top left. It says ball, or it says B equals 3, S equals 2. And that's also reflected on the scoreboard. Under ball, it has 3 lights. Under strike, it has 2 lights. And let's just pretend that the batter gets a pitch and hits the ball and gets thrown out at first base. So in other words, the batter's out. In that situation, we would increment out +1, and to reset the ball and strike, you simply push this button here, clear ball and strike. So now if we look up here at the display, we have ball 0, strike 0, out 1. And the same thing is reflected on the scoreboard. Let me pan into that. You can see under ball and strike, there's nothing lit up. Under out, there's 1 light. And the last button that we'll talk about is the inning button. It's on the bottom here. And if we look at the console, we can see that we currently have ball 0, strike 0, out 0, game 0, 0, inning 1, and home 0. So to increment the inning, simply press the inning button, inning +1. And you can see here, the inning is now on the bottom in the middle. It says inning is 2. Now, if you accidentally hit too many, like you hit it, I hit 3 instead of 2. If you look up here, it says inning 3. The way to reset that back to 2 would be to, on the controller, click the Enter Edit button. In this case, we're going to edit, so just push the button, and then push inning. And if we look up here, it says inning edit, and it says 3, the current value. So on the board, come down here and hit clear, and we can type in the inning. We want it on 2. So again, look at the numbers on the bottom right of the button, 2 here. Look back up here. It says inning edit 2. And come back down again and press the enter button. And we can verify by looking at the console. Ball 0, strike 0, out 0, game, or guessed 0, inning 2, home 0. So that's how we corrected the inning. If we input a number too large, we can always edit the value to whatever we want it to be. And that's the general usage for this All Sport 1600 series controller.